Welcome to my channel, folks. So obviously, if you're clicking on this, you're looking for 1318 Rav-4, you want to make it ride better. Well, there's a few things I'm going to do in this video, and I'm going to get right to the point, and we're going to compare these struts. So first off, I want to say though, if you are new to my channel and you happen to like outdoor photography, if you do like vehicle maintenance tips and tricks, if you like product recommendations and reviews, or if you are in the Northeast and you like outdoor popular tourist attractions, I'm actually in the New York, Vermont, Massachusetts area. And if I ever do have a chance to get on a plane and I get to encounter something else, I may do a video on that. Basically, whatever I encounter, I will put out there. If I think that it's going to be something to a viewer that would be interesting, I will put it out there and video record it. So before we get right into it, obviously, you know, nobody wants to sit here and listen to me, blah, 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 blah. I know what it's like when I click on a YouTube channel. But if you do watch all this and you do like it, click the like button. It helps the algorithm, and it makes my channel, builds my channel. And if I ever do get bigger in my channel, it would be really great. And if you do happen to subscribe to my channel, I will subscribe to your channel. So first off, the first thing I had to do is actually put some shocks in the back of this one. This one was actually leaking in the right rear. So this shock was actually making a little bit of noise, but I put some, I don't know, I'm gonna take this for a ride after and give you a comparison. So I got these when Advanced Auto was actually going out of business in the New York area, and I bought these because I got them for $6. So if you're gonna, obviously if you're going to click on this video, I'm not gonna actually do a how-to video. I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing to make this car ride better and my results. Should you put these in it, or should you not put them in it, or should you put original equipment stuff in there? So right off the bat, first off, I wanna say the original Toyota shocks in there, they have a heavy duty shield right here. So I'm assuming that's maybe to catch debris, because you can actually see there's a little bit of like the dirt missing here. So I'm assuming it's probably from the stuff kicking up from the tires, the road grime and rocks and little things like that. So they do have these heavy duty shields, and these cheapo Monroes do not. These struts or these shocks, they still compress and expand it feels very hard to do this. I don't know if the weight of the vehicle is actually going to change that or not. This one's a little bit easier with the leak, but they're kind of, if you feel them, that you can clunk them. Probably can't hear that there, but there's a little bit of a clunk, but 156,000 miles worth of wear and tear and up and down. So I've got the shocks done, and next we're gonna basically take the strut out of here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna compare the Carquest brand that I put in here to the original Toyota ones. I'm gonna compare the spring thickness and basically like the bearings, the strut itself, everything on there, and see if you can see like a significant difference in the struts themselves. And then later on, I'm gonna take it for a ride. And it may take a little time for these struts to settle and stuff, but I was gonna do it and I forgot to. I was gonna compare the ride height too. So obviously anything you put a spring or strut in is gonna, until they settle, they're gonna settle a little bit higher. So I'll just watch it in time and make sure that the vehicle's not sitting like abnormally high in the front or something silly like that. But there was no reviews on these Carquest struts. There was KYBs, and there was, I think there was Detroit, Michigan, and there was some real cheap, like $90 Amazon ones out there, and them had horrible reviews. The Detroit, Michigan had kind of mixed reviews. These, nobody actually put them in a Rav-4, but they were actually at the Advanced Auto that was up near a Toyota dealership, and the guy in the auto parts store had actually mentioned to me that once in a while the dealership will buy these. So obviously they're buying because they're a quick strut and everything's together. But let's get the strut out of here and let's start comparing, and we'll see what you want to do with your Rav-4. Just like that, the left side's out. And did I mention I hate working on vehicles? Yeah, just like that. It was not too bad, but you know, there's always worse things. I am gonna do it myself for now. No matter what I can do to make myself save some money, I'm gonna do it. And that's one of the reasons why I'm putting the Carquest struts in and doing this video for you guys. Because obviously, you know, a lot of us are on a budget today and we can't go put OEM Toyota stuff in, but we're gonna compare the two here and we'll take it for a ride after it's all wrapped up, and I'll talk about how it rides and if you should do this, or I'll give you my honest opinion if I think it totally ruined the vehicle and the Toyota vehicle, or the vehicle, Toyota spring and the strut and everything in there rode a lot better, which I can't see happening with how bad this thing rides with the amount of wear on this because of the mileage on the car. So let's compare the differences. All right, so obviously here's the Carquest one and the Toyota one. And I never really checked if they were OEM, but I'm assuming they are. I don't think the vehicle struts were ever changed by the looks of them. You can kind of see the boots kind of torn apart here, ripped, and actually part of this, the top of this is falling apart. I don't know if it's a little spacer or not. I probably should have looked into that. I'm not gonna really worry too much about it. There is no spacer on this one. I don't know if that would give me 1/8 of an inch of lift. So anyway, right off the bat, we're gonna start with the spring. And I've got a 9/16 inch wrench, and I just picked this wrench to measure. I don't have a micrometer or anything fancy like that, but I picked this wrench and it fits. Now a bunch of dirt bikes ride by. Somebody's having some fun. So don't mind the sound there. Anyway, right off the bat, this fits on there tight, all the way down. Each part of the spring, 9/16. I couldn't get anything metric. Down the bottom, it gets a little bit tighter. It's funny, everybody's flies by here. My father says it's a raceway. It's a little bit thinner up the top. So I don't really want to nick the paint on this pretty thing, but I'm gonna. So up the top on this one, fits on there about the same. It gets a little tighter as you go here. Have to kind of force it. So there's not a significant difference. I'm guessing because there's probably new paint on here and that was worn, but this spring could be like a 20th or a 1,000th inch of a difference. So there is a little bit of a difference in the spring. And the boot, obviously the boot's the boot. Moving down here, we've got your sway bar bracket. Sway bar bracket here. There's nothing really significantly different. And you can look at the welds, they're a little different. And moving down to the strut mounts. And obviously what's gonna really matter the most is what's internally in this thing. But the strut mounts, the holes are, and so anyone who's watching this too, the holes on this new Carquest strut are not hollowed out, or however you'd say it, oblong or oval, so you can actually adjust them and put them on an alignment. So these are going to kind of go in there. If your alignment's already good, you may want to check it after, but there's really no adjustment. So these are kind of just throw in. If the alignment's already good, it should be good. And then you've got basically there's a brake line mount, and there's also another little hole right here, and that is where your ABS line is going to go right there, your wire. I didn't really, thickness wise here, I'm not going to go too crazy as far as measuring this compared to this. They look the same. I'm not going to go nutty with that. Obviously they're both going to have insulators. That insulator, they look a little different. So the Toyota strut's got holes. You can see light through there, so I don't know if they designed them so they can drain. I don't know if that's going to make a difference or not. And the Carquest one, oh no, it's still got a hole. You just can't see it because of the insulator. Well, coming up here to the top, obviously they come with a warning, tell you don't be stupid, don't take the top nut off, don't take some crazy thing and knock your head off. And looking at these here, there is a cap on top of the Toyota one. There is not a cap on the Carquest one. So I may try and remove this cap and see if it does go on here. I don't know if it matters. You can comment and tell me if you do know, but out of all the years I put struts in vehicles, I've never really noticed a difference. The studs, thickness looks about the same. Let's see if this nut goes on there. I think the threads are different. Whoops. Well, let's see. Yeah, oh no, threads are the same, so them are the same thickness. And the actual mount itself, looks like there's actually a seam on the Toyota one. You can see that. And there's no seam on the Carquest. I don't know if that would make much of a difference. But again, these were making some noise too, so again, the ride's gonna matter. I guess we'll see, and we'll hop in this cart and take it for a ride when we're all wrapped up. So before we actually hop in this thing and take it for a ride, it's a lovely rainy day with a little thunder in the background. I'm just gonna show you real quick, right after I drove it out of the garage. It looks like it might be sitting a little bit higher. Obviously it's gonna settle, take a little while, but the back with the new shocks not gonna make much of a difference, and the shocks were the right length. But I drove it out of the garage and just going over this little bump. So far so good. I got my Angel dog in here. I gotta clean up a mess in my father's garage. Angel says hi. Hi Angel, am I an angel? Yes, so after I get this mess cleaned up, we will take this thing for a ride and I will give you my opinion on it. All right, we're in the vehicle, don't mind the rain. Actually hit some railroad tracks back there, so that was a good test for the first kind of judgment on these struts and how they've improved over the factory ones. So I'm gonna make this short and sweet, but I will say that First off, if you have a vehicle with like say 60, 70,000 miles, or it's fairly new, something kind of crazy, obviously it's, you know, a no-brainer. If it had 40,000 miles on it, you had a strut leaking or something, you're going to want to put an OEM one in it. But right off the bat, these struts are quiet, and I no longer have the little bit of a stutter and hop. Well, that was actually a pretty big powell. And it handles better, it's smoother in the turns. And again, these are Carquest brand, and basically I got these for a little under $300. So if you were going to put all the Toyota stuff in there, obviously you're going to be probably about almost $400 a side when you're talking about the strut mount on the top, the strut bearing, and then you're talking about, you might be able to save your springs if they're not rusty. And the insulator, usually half the time the insulators, from previous experience, the insulators are no good when you pull them off the spring. So you're talking about the insulator, obviously the strut itself, and whatever else you can sacrifice in there, the joist bumper inside there. So you're going to be talking at least, you know, you're going to be talking big money for the Toyota stuff. So all in all, these Carquest struts, I've had good luck with Carquest stuff. So these Carquest struts are pretty good. The ride, these Rav-4s ride kind of stiff. 13 to 18 Rav-4s, they ride kind of stiff right from the factory. I've rode in another one and compared it to this one, and I want to say that with these not even broken in, they remain the same. The ride's still kind of stiff, and you know they have to do that with an SUV, considering all the stuff that you're going to put in it. You know, if you're going to load it up, if you got people in there, if you got cargo and all that stuff. The Honda I had, actually the CRV, they rode really nice, and the springs were actually too soft on that. I put a couple of 5-gallon spring waters in the back, and you could see the back end was actually sagging. So anyway, all in all, if you're going to think about purchasing Carquest, or they call it a quick strut, basically everything's all together, I would say a good on that. You know, especially if you got a car that's got 100,000 miles or more, and you just want something, you're do-it-yourselfer, and you don't have the spring compressor, you don't want to rent one and do all that kind of stuff, definitely a no-brainer. Go ahead and purchase them. Again, I can't compare them to KYB. I can't compare them to Detroit Axle there. I got it right that time for all those of you that are probably going to comment and tell me that, well, at least I got Detroit, Michigan, right? There is Michigan, Detroit, right? Or I'll fix it later if I don't. But anyway, consider subscribing, and thanks for watching. And comment, let me know what you think. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to comment if you have any other questions that I didn't mention.